Yeah, which it looks like West Ham seem to be doing at the moment with obviously that win against Chelsea and a draw today up at Newcastle.
Yeah, what a good week for David Moyes and his team. 4 points from those two matches. So 2-2 draw in that one. Finished Burnley 1, Sheffield United 1 earlier. And tonight, Southampton against Manchester City, which kicks off at 7 o'clock. It's on 5 Live. You'll hear it, you'll be able to watch it as well on BBC One. And this match now also being listened to on the BBC World Service. So welcome everyone who's listening on the World Service. It's 0-0, 4 minutes played. Ball played downfield for Aston Villa. Relegation threatened Aston Villa, but the new champions Liverpool are able to clear through Alexander-Arnold, and Robertson loses it. It's played forward down the right-hand side, but Van Dijk just holds off. Keenan Davis just shrugs into him. He just leaned across, used his hip as well, and took possession of the ball. Fabinho scored that fantastic goal in the 4-0 win here, the only previous match since the restart for Liverpool, the 4-0 against Crystal Palace. The results for Liverpool: the 0-0 draw with Everton, 4-0 win at home, and a 4-0 defeat away. That is almost the very definition of a mixed bag. Liverpool coming forward with Robertson on the left-hand side. Liverpool 16 wins out of 16 at home in the Premier League this season. Ball played across by Oxlade-Chamberlain halfway inside the Villa half. Misplaced the pass and then rather over-exuberantly put in a challenge on Jack Grealish, which resulted in a free kick to Villa.
Keita's another one as well, John, isn't he? In terms of, might think he's got something to prove.
Yep, Naby Keita playing as the left-sided central midfielder instead of Wijnaldum. It is Villa with El Ghazi on the right-hand side, looking to cross. Robertson went with him, and it was blocked out of play. Is that a corner, or is it a throw?
No, I think it's a throw-in.
Yeah, went out of play. Yeah, the assistant referee down here just indicates that it is a throw. And Ezri Konsa comes up to take this. He's tossed the ball by El Ghazi. So there is the width there for Villa. Trezeguet on the left-hand side. El Ghazi on the right. Here's the cross after the throw-in was taken. Alexander-Arnold came across and was able to clear it away.
Lost the focus,
didn't try
which
to
is
reach it, so
a bit unusual, particularly with Roy in charge, because Roy normally gets them well.
That gave Villa the lead when the sides met at Villa Park back in November, which was a match actually that I don't know whether you heard the interview. Robbie Savage did a really nice interview with Jurgen Klopp on 5 Live yesterday morning and talked to him about the highlights for Liverpool in the Premier League this season. And he picked out that match when Robertson and then Sadio Mane scored 2 goals really late on in the game to turn it around.
Yeah, I think also remember the win against Leicester.
Yes,
I think that was
another one he mentioned. Yes,
very much
that's
so.
right. With James Milner's late penalty. Yeah. Villa coming forward, ball down the right-hand side, but that's too far ahead of El Ghazi, and Van Dijk is able to see it safely back to Alisson, who gets right underneath it with his left foot, and the ball bounces right on the white line and doesn't go out of play. So Villa with Douglas Luiz give it to El Ghazi again. El Ghazi goes for the early cross, but too close to Alisson, who's able to take it quite comfortably into his midriff. So 0-0 remains the score. 5 Live and the World Service. And in the 3 o'clock kickoff in the Championship, Betty Glover's at the Hawthorns. What's happened now?
We have had another goal. It's West Brom 4, Hull 2. Grady Diagana with the goal. Really, really nice goal. But to be honest, this game is wide open. Absolutely gutted for Hull. It could be 5-5. Someone described it as a game of basketball. And you know what? I don't disagree. The game is wide open. And Slaven Bilic is just taking layers of clothes off as it just heats up over here. It's West Brom 4. Hull 2.
Thank you, Betty. Middlesbrough lost 1-0 at home to Queen's Park Rangers, so Middlesbrough in the bottom 3. Hull currently, despite losing that match, are above the line, and earlier finished Swansea 2, Sheffield Wednesday 1 in the 3 matches in the Championship today. Robbie Savage is back on later, by the way, a very late 6:06 tonight, after the Southampton-Manchester City game from 9 o'clock with Emma Jones for an hour and a half, actually, 9 o'clock till 10:30. Liverpool coming forward. 0-0 the score. He gives Van Dijk gives it to Sadio Mane, who scored that winning goal against Aston Villa, as I mentioned. Now here's Fabinho. Fabinho square to Keita. Keita low into the edge of the area. Oxlade-Chamberlain pops up there. Oh, he overcooked the pass out towards the right-hand side. Alexander-Arnold couldn't keep it in, and it's a throw into Villa halfway inside their own half.
No great intensity from Liverpool as yet, is there?
No, there's not. And it was there. I mean, I think Jurgen Klopp was right to say that in the first 20 minutes or so.
Shoots early and
Thursday
the ability
night, but Manchester City just
know what's going
went
on,
into
get
overdrive,
behind
really.
players.
They did
his
look
finishing
jaded,
was
I felt, in the opening period of the second half.
The other thing, what
Saturn,
happened to
like
Andy
Ray was
Robertson
saying,
Thursday
he's
night?
really
I think he has
pacey.
been on the
But should that story inspire?
Playing the fourth and Grealish trying to flick the ball, gets it all wrong, and it bounces to Fabinho. That won't be on the show reel, as they say. Oxlade-Chamberlain forward to Alexander-Arnold. That's a tigerish challenge from Neil Taylor to win the ball back. It was a 50-50. He certainly showed that he wanted that one, Taylor, and it's out of play for a throw-in on the far side.
Yeah, so far so good from Aston Villa. In all honesty, a little bit of a worry when Salah had all that time in the opposition penalty area, but nothing became of it. But Liverpool, they're okay without being at the sparkling best so far. I know it's early, but even so.
It is 0-0. 10 minutes on the clock. Bright sunshine, and this wind continues to swirl around an Anfield which has all of the Liverpool flags, the supporters' banners, the famous flags that you see being handed around the stadium. When there's a crowd in here, they're all placed over the seats in the Kop, and it's a fantastic scene, actually. It'd be better seen if there were supporters in there, but here's Jurgen Klopp just coming to the edge of his coaching area, looking slightly concerned, but then there's an overhit pass from centre field which bounces harmlessly out of play. Courtney Hawes, and it's a throw into Liverpool halfway inside their own half. The referee has blown his whistle.
Grealish.
Is it Grealish? I think it is, yeah. He was down on the far side, and he's on his knees, and he's twisting his left leg. I'm not sure what's happened there.
No.
And so the two medical men are trotting onto the field to give him some treatment. Well, this obviously is a serious concern. If there's one man that Villa do not want to lose, with 5 matches to play after this, and their Premier League state is very much in doubt, it's Jack Grealish.
Looks like his right ankle, Joel. Yeah. This is a little bit deja vu. Zaha of Crystal Palace.
Yeah, early on in the match, the previous home match since the restart for Liverpool. Well, whether he's just come down awkwardly on it, I'm not sure whether it's been part of a challenge or not.
No.
But we'll have a little stoppage here while he receives treatment, and obviously Aston Villa supporters watching on, listening in around the world, will be hoping that he's okay. He's on his feet now, Grealish. He's had a little sort of bounce up and down on it, and he's got his socks pulled down, obviously, but that would be the case anyway with Jack Grealish.
Yeah.
And he's now being led off the field on the far side, and will come back on. He will come back on to see how it is, and we'll just keep an eye on him, Mark. Liverpool 0, Aston Villa 0. Robertson with the throw here on the left-hand side as Grealish runs back onto the field now, looks okay. El Ghazi with it on the right-hand side, trying to take it past Robertson, but Robertson, unlike Harry Maguire yesterday, managed to get his legs together and block it out for the throw. That was some goal, wasn't it? Did you see that?
Yeah,
Stanislas.
yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, beat Maguire and De Gea. Now here's El Ghazi swinging it into the near post, but it's headed away by Van Dijk, who was able just to move across to his left and head.
Yeah, and look how deep Origi was defensively.
Yeah, in his own defensive third.
Yeah.
Thrown to be taken by Konza. This is level with the edge of the Liverpool penalty area. Takes it to El Ghazi. You've seen a lot of the ball early on, but he shrugged off it there by Keita. He ended up on the ground, and Liverpool will bring it away from the back with Sadio Mane. Fabinho then plays it into the path of Mane. That was lovely, perfectly judged. And then Mane finds Salah. Salah now up against Taylor, into the box on the right-hand side. Salah trying to work a position on his left foot, but then the challenge has arrived, and it bounced back and bounced away from Salah. And Villa played it up to Davis, who's never going to reach that. And it's back with Alisson.
Actually, defensively, Villa did really, really well. They knew that Salah, operating on the right, was going to cut in onto his left foot, and they never gave him any space whatsoever. And in the end, he ran out of space and time, and basically they won the ball back very simply.
Liverpool 0, Aston Villa 0, with the quarter of an hour mark approaching. Oxlade-Chamberlain just moves away from McGinn, who's come back after the restart looking very sturdily built. You know, we wouldn't have expected to see him again this season, but he's been able to recover from that nasty injury that he had, the the fractured ankle.
I'm guessing. Sorry, John, I'm guessing he's got a gym at home.
Well, yes. I think they all have, don't they?
Well, I would have thought so.
Judging by what you've been hearing from all of those players during lockdown.
Yeah, we've got gin and they've got a gym.
Alexander-Arnold's ball across. Robertson with it, cross from the left-hand side. Douglas Luiz was there to head it down and away into the right-back position. That was classic Liverpool from Alexander-Arnold on one side to Robertson on the other. The cross into the box. Origi through the middle. This is very congested on the Liverpool left wing. Villa have got two players in there, and Douglas Luiz has just had his legs taken away from him by Origi, and it's a free kick to Villa deep inside their own half.
And Origi's complaining to the referee. I'm not sure what about.
Well, he's got his chance. He's not scored since December. That's 20 appearances, Origi, in a Liverpool shirt. Admittedly, most of them have been as a substitute.
Yeah.
But I was just wondering, you know, will he be here next season, Origi?
Unless
cult status.
Well, unless they find a replacement, you know, then they'd have to get someone in before they sold him, I would have thought.
Just wondering from his point of view whether he would want to be starting matches.
Well, I think
25 years old.
You would hope so, wouldn't you? And if he isn't, what's wrong with him?
Yeah. But you're also part of this Liverpool setup. Here's Keita curling it forward. Salah is adjudged to have fouled Taylor, who felt the nudge from him, went down.
Yeah.
Free kick.
I don't know, was it a nudge or was it the wind?
Free kick though to Villa. So Reina's going to take this. 37 years old. So Neeland left out today, and Reina brought back in. To say nearly 400 appearances for Liverpool, which I mean, he was a popular figure, wasn't he, as the Liverpool goalkeeper?
In every way, not just for his ability, but also as a player in the dressing room, etc.
Cross from the right for Villa for Konza, but this one's headed away by Gomez. Must ask you about Gomez and Sterling from the other night, Mark. But Oxlade-Chamberlain playing a ball forward down the left-hand side. Oh, Reina's come a long way out of his penalty area, and he got there. Well, I was wondering whether he was going to at one stage. Mane chasing it for Liverpool, but the Villa goalkeeper was there and able to clear it out of play on the halfway line. He needs to bounce back. Gomez today after Sterling the other night.
Yeah, he was all over the place, Joe, wasn't he? All over the place.
Looked as though the whole thing might have got into his head. And they'd not had a chance to get together with England because of the circumstances.
Yeah.
So that was
Well, I would have thought so.
the first time that they confronted one another, and Sterling won that one.
You can't play football when you're angry, John.
Can you not?
Nope.
No. Ball deflected out of play, and it's a throw into Villa, just in front of the Villa dugout there. So Liverpool 0, Aston Villa 0. And the other news, the Austrian Grand Prix this afternoon, which was on 5 Live Sports Extra earlier, won by Bottas. Leclerc second and Lewis Hamilton third. We'll have more on that, I'm sure, a little bit later on. The podcast, the 5 Live Checkered Flag podcast, will be out as well, with all of the interviews and reaction to that. Obviously, in the current climate, the way things are, our coverage affected and limited, but we'll do what we can. And we were at least able to bring you the commentary from a very social display. Here's Van Dijk, who plays it across to Gomez. Gomez just strokes a pass to the right-hand side to Alexander-Arnold. And then Oxlade-Chamberlain, Liverpool's number 15, who's come on as a substitute in all 3 of the matches since the restart. So this is the first time he's been in the starting lineup, Oxlade-Chamberlain. Alexander-Arnold then strikes one of those crossfield passes again to Robertson on the left-hand side, on the left wing. He gets it down, plays it to Keita. Keita gets it back from Mane. Keita trying the cross, but it's blocked by the legs of Hawes, and it's behind for Liverpool's first corner.
It was actually a really good move, but when the ball eventually came back to Keita, I don't quite think he was knowing what he wanted to do, and ended up just playing it off the legs of a Villa defender for a corner.
So still, so far, so relatively good for Aston Villa. Almost 20 minutes played. It's still 0-0. Every point so vital. And if they get one here, I mean, what a good point that would be. Robertson with the corner then to the near post. Fabinho was after it, but it was headed down. And Grealish, who seems to be okay, was on the edge of the area to chip it away. Comes back to Grealish, who then wins a throw-in, which sends a bottle of water absolutely flying and spraying over the Villa coaches in the front row of the dugout down there. So it's a throw-in to Villa near the halfway line.
Where do you stand on the drinks break?
I get the reason in terms of they're saying that because of the intensity now, they feel that modern science and the evidence that they have suggests that they need that to guard against injuries. And if that's what they say, if that's what the medical data says, then we have to believe it, don't we?
Kind of heard that somewhere else before. Are we following the science then, or what is it?
Yeah, well, that's a very good point. Here's Louise. Oh, nice from El Ghazi. Louise, then was just caught. He was almost away from Robertson. He's just caught him. That's going to be a yellow card for Robertson.
Yeah.
Free kick, Villa.
Can't complain. He was gone. He was caught. And Robertson hasn't started particularly well defensively.
No, he hasn't. What I do know for the drinks break is that it's certainly, I mean, it's like a timeout. It's effectively a timeout for the managers.
Yeah.
Pep Guardiola can't get enough of it. The matches I've seen, he's had to be sort of almost dragged off the field during the drinks breaks.
He is driven.
Certainly is. And never was there a better example of that than Thursday night at the Etihad. Free kick then. Grealish for Villa, plays it in, and it's headed up and over the top of the crossbar from probably 14 yards out, actually, from Konza, who got his head to it, and Liverpool taking a quick goal kick.
Should have done better. It's a clear header, wasn't it? Lots of pace on the ball as well. Should have, at the very least, hit the target.
Liverpool 0, Aston Villa 0. BBC Radio 5 live from inside Anfield. Robertson, long pass to him, but just a heavy touch. Didn't need to be too heavy to take that out of play, but it was from Robertson, and it's a throw.
That must be probably the fourth or fifth diagonal from right back to left back, and it's very, very difficult, when teams come in, they want to play narrow, obviously to deny Liverpool the space. It's very difficult to stop it.
And then a tug back by Davis on Van Dijk, who again shrugged him off, as if to say, what? Is that all is that what you're going to do now?
No, he just goes, and?
Yeah. And then Van Dijk, with the captain's armband on, plays it back to Gomez. And out it goes into the sunshine on the far side. That huge banner, it's absolutely massive across the top of the top tier of the Sir Kenny Dalglish stand. Liverpool FC, champions again. They've fastened it down very carefully because the wind will be swirling around there with absolutely no one in. Here is Alexander-Arnold now carrying up the ball forward and then trying to flick it up towards Oxlade-Chamberlain, but Villa win it back on the corner of their own penalty area, and Fabinho will start again. So 0-0. We've almost reached that midway point of the first half, and we'll have the drinks breaks, and Villa have held their own so far, certainly against the new champions. Liverpool trying to make it 17 wins out of 17 at home in the Premier League this season. Oh, misplaced pass by Van Dijk behind Robertson.
Sack him.
And it's a throw into Aston Villa. And I think that's it. I think that is the drinks break.
It is indeed.
Yeah.
I mean, Liverpool just not quite at it, are they? And the passing's not been particularly good, apart from the diagonal balls. Reina hasn't had to make a save, neither has Alisson. Well done to Villa so far. I mean, if they can continue this and get a point here at Anfield, it would be a massive result for them.
Just watching Klopp's body language here, in the light of you saying that, Mark, he's had a little word there with Oxlade-Chamberlain. Quite a few words with Oxlade-Chamberlain. Origi just drifting around behind him, actually just backed into him, Klopp.
Yeah.
And he tripped over him. And
he's driven. I mean, he wants to win the games, but I think he also does understand there will be a little bit of a come down once you've actually won the Premier League. It's human nature, really is.
We were talking when we were here, I think, for the Crystal Palace game, and you said that was one season that you won the league very, very early. I had a little look back. That was 82-83.
Was it?
Where you won it by an absolute mile from Watford.
Right.
In the end, you won it by 11 points, 82-83. You won it with 5 matches left, and you took 1 point from the remaining 5 matches.
I'm surprised we took one. We didn't take 1 pint from the 5 remaining matches. Dear, oh dear. I think I scored an own goal against Norwich in the very last game, I think.
Right.
Didn't really know much about it, in 2 ways.
But that was 82-83.
Yeah,
This is 1920.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, and you know, Ronnie Moran, the sergeant major, even he gave up after a while because the lads were like, Ronnie, shut up, we've won it. You know, and it's very, very difficult then to motivate yourself to what do you want to do? Just to not worry about records. You know, long hard season and you won the league with 5 games to go. Enjoy it, boys.
And you did finish the season like that. Play's back underway, by the way, after the drinks breaks. And it looks as though Grealish is okay, incidentally. You know, there's been no further ill effects. So that's good news for Villa. Comes back towards the edge of the penalty area for Liverpool. But Taylor for Villa comes across and clears it away right-footed. Downfield, the offside flag is up. What I think is also important to say about that is that you fell off a cliff at the end of that season. You won the league again the next season.
Yeah. Well, job done, isn't it?
Yeah, and you did start quite well the following season as well. I had a look.
Well, that's probably because we had a rest in the last 5 games.
Yeah. Well, Liverpool will get a rest once this Premier League season is over, so it will be a lengthy rest, although the internationals are going to be played early September, and then the new Premier League will start. McGinn playing the ball forward, but beyond Taylor, so Alexander-Arnold is able to come forward and find Salah on the right-hand side. Salah, who scored in the last 6 home Premier League matches. Mo Salah, 7 goals in those 6 matches, and he does look lively, but so far hasn't been able to get a shot in at goal. Liverpool starting again on the halfway line. Ball played to Origi, who's popped up on the right-hand side. Mane's in the middle. Origi's cross deflected. Salah couldn't take the ball in his stride. And Douglas Luiz is able to clear it away downfield, but Gomez will allow that to... in fact, he does keep it in on the far side. He plays it forward to Alexander-Arnold. Liverpool 0, Aston Villa 0. We've still got one more Premier League commentary to come today. Southampton against Manchester City from 7 o'clock. And we've got Tottenham-Everton tomorrow night as well, which looks like that could be a decent game, certainly an interesting game. Ball forward for Liverpool, but it's shepherded out of play for a goal kick for Villa.
Yeah, passing not really good enough for Liverpool. They've all given it away so far. Van Dijk, in fact, a couple of times has given the ball away, and they've not really got themselves into their stride, most certainly, but well done to Aston Villa. There's not many teams come here, and the goalkeeper hasn't had any work to do after, 27 minutes?
Yeah. Ball played short, the goal kick by Reina to Tyrone Mings, who fires a ball left-footed away downfield. Comes back, though, at Villa. And here is Origi. Origi rides a challenge from Taylor, but then via a deflection passes it straight into the path of Tyrone Mings, who takes the ball out towards the left-hand side, but then slices it, and it lands out of play near the halfway line.
He's not got great feet, Origi, has he? That's his problem. I think he can look a little bit clumsy at time, and his passing isn't great, but he can be very effective, obviously, coming off the bench, as we know.
Throw in up to Salah, bounces into the penalty area. He's up against Mings, and then he plays it into Taylor, and it bounces away rather cheaply for a corner for Liverpool from the right-hand side. Still goalless here at Anfield, and a corner from the right. Alexander-Arnold arrives there and will take the ball into the quadrant. Liverpool have got Origi near the penalty spot with Fabinho. Van Dijk just arrives now. Salah and Mane just outside the 6-yard box. And the corner is taken by Alexander-Arnold. It lands on the edge of the 6-yard box. It actually bounces off Konza, and he was very fortunate that it bounced to a teammate who was able to clear it away. Liverpool starting again with Keita. We're going to go to the Hawthorns very shortly for the full-time news, but cross from Alexander-Arnold, that was more like it from him, but headed away by Courtney Hawes. Bounces out to the left-hand side. Origi's appeared here now. Back to Robertson on the halfway line. In fact, while Liverpool go back into their own half, let's bring in Betty Glover with the full-time news from the Hawthorns.
So at full-time, it was West Brom 4, Hull 2. West Brom have done wonders for the automatic promotion hopes. They're now 1 point behind leaders Leeds, and crucially 5 points in front of third-place Brentford. What a game, though. Hull certainly put up a fight. At one point, it could have been 5-5, pretty much goal-to-goal. West Brom led 2-1 at half-time, but within minutes of the second half, Hull levelled with a goal from Malik Wilkes. West Brom are having None of that though. Kamil Grzycki made it 3 to his first goal for the Baggies against his former side, and then Grady Diangana doubled their lead. So pretty good from West Brom. 1 point behind Leeds, and Hull sit outside the relegation zone at West Brom 4, Hull 2.
Liverpool coming forward, Keita playing it into the box. It's hiked up in the air by Hawes, still not cleared the defensive third, only half cleared away still. Bounces on the edge of the penalty area, and McGinn is then able to find the pass to the right-hand side. Trezeguet hitting it forward, it bounces off Fabinho, back towards Keenan Davis. And Davis missed a great deal of this season with injury. Davis playing it back to the centre circle to Douglas Luiz. Now Davis again, 25 yards out, but with his back to the penalty area, so uses McGinn nearer the halfway line, and Villa start again from inside the centre circle. Half an hour played, 0-0.
Good play by Villa as well, keeping the ball.
Oh, and Trezeguet, who's appeared on the right-hand side with Al Ghazi moving across to the left, had strayed offside, so it's a free kick to Villa, to Liverpool halfway inside their own half.
Just looking at clock, sending directions, I think, to Mane. Mane gone through the middle now, and Origi playing on the left and Salah on the right at the moment.
Also, I noticed that the pictures being shown when the ball hit Konza on the edge of the 6-yard box. The pictures just having a look to see that it didn't strike an arm inside the penalty area. What about the handball rule at the moment?
Oh, please don't.
It's
the
needs some attention.
The Lucas Moura thing was just. You know, I think lots of people said about it at times, what's happening? Should have a rule that comes under the banner headline, common sense.
But the word seems to be that the lawmakers will maintain it this way into next season.
Well, that's all right, because all the lawmakers have never played the game, John.
Here's Fabinho, 30 yards out, Fabinho, then a little header forward from Mane into the penalty area. That's cleared away by Mings, comes back over Taylor's shoulder, it's spun, and therefore he's cleared it, sliced it up in the air, unconvincing, and finally away by a combination of Mings and McGinn, and it's out of play for a throw-in on the halfway line. So half an hour played, Liverpool 0, Aston Villa 0. We've already had our clap for carers inside Anfield, but it is 5 o'clock all around the country in the UK, and the final, what is being billed as the final clap for the carers and the key workers and the NHS will be taking place now all around the country. And I guess from our position here we can see so many of the rooftops of Merseyside. I guess people will be out on their doorsteps doing exactly that right now.
You would hope so, wouldn't you?
Yes, you would. On the weekend on which the NHS was founded back in 1948. Liverpool 0, Aston Villa 0. Free kick. There's a little foul over there on the left-hand side. And here's Grealish. Grealish plays it down the left. Here's the cross into the Liverpool box. Trezeguet pulls it down. Did well. Douglas Luiz with a chance to shoot, but he shoots straight at Alisson, who's able to pat it down.
Yeah, it fell lovely for Luiz as well, wasn't it? Just for him, it bounced up. Nice to hit it on the volley. It was just problem was it was right at Alisson.
First attempt on goal?
Yes.
Mane at the other end. Might have another one, has a shot but straight into the backs of Luiz's calves, just outside the D on the edge of the penalty area. Then that's a misplaced pass, but it bounces for Liverpool. It was intercepted by Trezeguet, but it bounced for Liverpool. Keita now to Oxlade-Chamberlain, who curls a pass, bounces low over the surface to Alexander-Arnold, which goes back towards the halfway line. So 0-0 the score here. Half-time, we'll have more news on and reaction to all of the day's football. I guess we'll be hearing, I would imagine, from Southampton, where Manchester City are the visitors tonight. More from the Austrian Grand Prix as well, won by Valtteri Bottas, and indeed the racing, the Eclipse Stakes, which was won by Gayaf ahead of Enable.
Did you see that thing about Danny Ings?
Go on.
Scores over 40-odd% of Southampton's goals. I mean, that is a stat, isn't it?
That is what you would call a heavy contribution.
Wow.
And he's third in the Premier League goal-scoring stakes at the moment. So Vardy's now 21, Aubameyang 19, Ings 18, and Salah 17. So quite tight. Vardy needed that in terms of the Golden Boot yesterday.
Yeah.
Leicester needed it as well. Here's Keita Goes back into his own half to Van Dijk, who then quickly shifts it to his right to Gomez. Gomez now moving away from Davis. Salah turns it first time. Alexander-Arnold's cross from the right. He was aiming for Mane in the box, but Mings was able to clear for Villa. Back it goes to the right wing for Liverpool. Oxlade-Chamberlain to Van Dijk. Van Dijk now to the left-hand side. Robertson in field to Origi. He has a look up. Origi low ball into the edge of the box, but Mings stepped forward, read his intention, and Mings actually carries it forward and gives it now to Trezeguet on the right-hand side. Trezeguet with both Davis and El Ghazi in the middle. Here's the cross from Trezeguet, but it's over the top of both of them, and it lands and bounces out of play on the far side for a throw.
Yeah, it was an opportunity certainly for Trezeguet, because Van Dijk came out to close him down. Therefore, Liverpool had lost his presence in the centre of the penalty area. But just the fact that the cross was over here.
So it's still 0-0, throw-in to Liverpool, and just the one save made so far by either goalkeeper, and it was a routine save for Alisson from Douglas Luiz's shot. Mane plays it forward, but Salah was surely in an offside position. No, he wasn't. He was not. And then it's played to Mane, who tries to backheel flick it back to Salah, but it was cut out by a combination of Taylor and Mings. And Villa were able to get it away, and then Oxlade-Chamberlain is upended by McGinn. And it's a free kick, and it's a yellow card for McGinn.
I think we would have been visiting Mr. VAR if Liverpool had scored from that opportunity. It definitely looked like Salah was offside, and I don't think Mr. McGinn can have too many complaints. He actually went to tackle with his wrong foot.
McGinn booked. Robertson was booked earlier, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, I just haven't made a note of that.
Not like you, John.
No, well, it's summertime and the living is easy.
It really doesn't feel like summertime on the 65th row of this stand, by the way.
It's not.
Crikey.
10 minutes to go to half-time. It's 0-0. Free kick. Alexander-Arnold with a delivery. Reina comes, arms stretched high, and is able to take the catch. Reina.
Interesting starting position from Reina. Very interesting. He didn't have far to move to come and collect the ball. What, about 8-10 yards out?
Yeah, and his delivery away downfield, that was one of the hallmarks, wasn't it, of his time as the Liverpool goalkeeper.
Yeah.
The way he used to deliver the ball downfield.
If I remember, and I struggled to remember last week, but I think he was very, very good one-on-one, I think. Yes. Somebody's going to dial in now, or text in, or email in.
Do you remember that goal?
What the hell are you on about?
Yes. Ball played in from the right-hand side. Keita. Now Salah goes for a goal. First-time shot, sort of snapshot as it dropped to him, but it was straight at Reina, who was able to go down and gather it at the foot of the post.
Well, that represents an opportunity, most definitely. It kind of rolled down his leg, didn't it? Yeah. He might have even touched it twice. I think what we haven't mentioned, it is extremely windy, John, isn't it?
Yeah. It is.
Which doesn't make it easy.
Here's Fabinho. Now the ball in towards Salah. Salah slips it into the penalty area, but Mings allowed it to roll, but knew that Mane was there, so actually took the ball and carried it out towards the far side and clears towards the halfway line to Davis. Young Kane Davis, 22 years old, just the one goal this season. As I mentioned, he has been injured. He had a hamstring problem, so he's still waiting for his first goal in the Premier League. Samatta on the bench today. Wesley obviously out injured at the moment. So there's a lot of expectation on this young man, the number 39, to try and find a goal for Aston Villa.
He holds the ball up well. That's all I could really comment on so far from today's game.
Villa playing the ball, but Konza had straight offside, and that was a little careless.
Yeah,
from centre field. Konza was looking along the line on the right wing, but it's a free kick to Liverpool. 6 or 7 minutes to go to half time.
Bob Paisley had a theory, 30 yards at this end, at the Kop end, John, that the wind used to dip. And no, seriously, and he used to say to like Ronnie Weir and those lads, always have a shot. The problem was he was the master of the unfinished sentence, and we didn't really know what he was on about.
That is, I don't think I've ever heard you say that before. That's a great piece of...
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. The wind...
Yeah, so the shape of the stand, it would dip.
The wind would dip.
Yeah.
Right. Villa bringing the ball forward. Over on the far side, it's Villa with Grealish. Grealish now getting the ball into the back post, and Robertson underneath it. Wasn't absolutely somewhere Trezeguet was, so just got underneath it and headed it up and over the top right corner of the goal as we look at it, and it's a corner.
Best player of the game, wasn't it? Grealish he did extremely well. Just whipped it onto his left and whipped the cross in. Actually, it was good defensive header in the end by Andy Robertson.
It's just gone down again, Grealish, there inside the penalty area onto his haunches, and now he's back up on his feet and he's trotting across here to the right-hand side.
He's all right.
He's okay.
He just wanted to make sure that we'd seen his cross, so then we'd look at him again.
Okay. Corner then, and it is taken by McGinn into the 6-yard box. Allison under some pressure there, got a punch to it, a good punch. Mings was arriving, and he's a big lad, Tyrone Mings. And Allison stood up to his arrival, and Liverpool looking to break downfield, but Grealish is able to intercept the pass on his chest, and now Villa counter-attacking the counter-attack. And it's with El Ghazi on the right. El Ghazi running at Van Dijk, drives the ball low and across, but far too close to Allison, who's able to just to drop on it.
He made it too difficult for himself. He had loads of space, and he saw the two runners into the penalty area. He just should have delivered it straight away.
Space is opened up here. Liverpool crossing the halfway line. Sadio Mane drops deep. Mane with a little shimmy, then passes it forward, but Taylor was in with his challenge, sort of knee height on Oxlade-Chamberlain. The ball bounces out of play for a throw-in, and Grealish has gone down.
He has, yeah.
So after that little period of play there, he's made a sprint down the left wing. He made a big sprint back into his own half, intercepted that pass, and now he's gone down again, and he is clutching his right foot, right ankle.
Yeah, I think it's his foot, isn't it?
Villa have got Manchester United at Villa Park on Thursday. That's 5 live commentary match, one of many this midweek. Then they're at home to Crystal Palace. They're back here on Merseyside to play Everton, home to Arsenal, and then away to West Ham is the final match.
Interesting set of fixtures, certainly.
Grealish is still down. Dean Smith is standing on the edge of the coaching area, the Aston Villa head coach, as he is, just waiting anxiously to hear the news.
Yeah.
Well, they've given him some treatment. Actually, now a little television here. Was that, what did they do? Did they spray that? Or
well, I think they cut away something, and whether he's got a strap in, and whether they cut it away to have a little look exactly what the problem was, I'm not sure.
Well, he's been led off the field again, the Villa captain. 4 minutes to go to half-time, but there'll be quite a lot of added time, actually, with one thing and another. 2 stoppages for Grealish.
He's walking all right.
Yeah, he is. He's just lifted up his right foot, and now he's running back onto the field. So, Liverpool with it. Still 0-0. Liverpool 0, Aston Villa 0. This is 5 Live and the World Service from the BBC, live from a blustery, blowy Anfield. And I don't think that's helped the game. It's not been dazzling entertainment, but Villa don't mind about that. If they're going to get anything out of this game, they'll take 0-0 now. Absolutely. Don't you worry about that. Grealish seems okay. He's up against Fabinho here. Fabinho plays it to Oxlade-Chamberlain. Oxlade-Chamberlain's ball over the top. That was half cut out by Trezeguet. He had to, because Alexander-Arnold was making a run around behind him, and that contact has taken it behind for a Liverpool corner from the right.
It just shows you, doesn't it, that you cannot turn on form and turn it off. It just shows you it's such a great game that way.
Alexander-Arnold to take the corner, an out swinger, which is headed away on the edge of the 6-yard box by Hawes for Villa. Back to Alexander-Arnold. Now here's Keita. Keita beats Grealish with his right foot, stabs it into the box. Mane went for an overhead kick, missed it. It's cleared away. Robertson swung a leg at it. That was blocked. And then Liverpool take up possession again near the halfway line. And Oxlade-Chamberlain to the right. Alexander-Arnold's ball in. Mings heads it away rather as if he's been electrocuted with his reaction as he got his head to it and nodded out back to the far side.
Probably because it came as a shock.
Yes. So it's a throw-in, actually, in the end off Alexander-Arnold for Villa halfway inside their own half. Producer Juliet brought along Greg James. In fact, I don't think Greg James' cutout has been away since we were last here. And I'm a little bit concerned that Greg James might take off in this wind.
I'm not.
That would cause a bit of a stir, because it's quite a big cutout. Here is Villa. Taylor playing it forward for the run downfield, but Van Dijk's the big favourite to get there first, which he does, ahead of Trezeguet. And then Alisson passes it out of the penalty area. We should have, I would have said, 4 minutes of added time at the end of the first half.
Yeah, I would have thought so. Be interesting to see what and if Klopp does anything at half-time with the team, whether he makes a couple of changes.
Well, Shaqiri is back after finally recovering from that injury. He is on the bench. There's no James Milner today, though, as Liverpool have to defend this long ball forward from Villa, from Reina, but it's played out of play by Robertson. Throw-in to Villa. Great time for Villa to get a goal. Unlike Bournemouth yesterday, I think Bournemouth scored too early yesterday against Manchester United.
Made them angry, John.
Yes, it did. And throw-in is taken. Douglas Luiz bounces back from Davis. Douglas Luiz just outside the penalty area. McGinn on his left foot, but slices that well wide, snatched at it. Liverpool were closing him down, and in the end it was probably 8-10 yards wide of the goal when it bounced into the cot.
So only one save made in the first half?
Yep.
Would that be right?
Yep.
Which was Alisson?
Sorry, two. Salah as well at the other end.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Oh, well, yeah.
Three.
Oh
No, 3 minutes. Juliet indicated it's 3 saves. It's 3 minutes.
She's saying I'm free.
Don't let loose Greg James, Juliet. Ball is with Alisson. And the 3 minutes of added time, which I think is a little right. And the ball is out of play for a throw-in on the far side.
Klopp just having a couple of minutes with Pep, isn't he, I think? With his right-hand man down there.
Yeah.
Is it Linders?
Pep Linders, yeah. Yeah. He's got his scarf pulled up over his face. It's in almost snood-like. It's certainly not the warmest July afternoon. Here's McGinn, nice turn into the box, headed away by Robertson, comes out to Luiz, edge of the area. Luiz then goes down very easily.
Oh dear.
As Keita puts in the challenge. He's gone down, stayed down, and I'm not sure anyone even actually appealed for a penalty. Fabinho, Villa could be a little stretched here. Oxlade-Chamberlain's ball to the edge of the area, cleared away by Konsa, managed to volley it away, and then Douglas Luiz is back on his feet. The ball's played back to Alisson by Van Dijk, and Douglas Luiz is now going to take his place again in the midfield. Liverpool. You can hear the crowd noise, by the way. We've got the commentary without the artificial crowd noise over on 5 Live Sports Extra, if you prefer that, with just the genuine stadium sound over on your digital radio via BBC Sounds. One ball played downfield, but El Ghazi can't reach that, and it's out of play for a throw into Liverpool. Already a minute played of added time. 0-0. Just seeing again Douglas Luiz into the penalty area. Well, he went down very dramatically, as if he'd been clipped. Well, not sure there was very much contact at all. Alexander-Arnold carrying the ball forward towards the edge of the Villa penalty area, but then just passes it into the path of Konsa, who is then fouled by Origi, trying to win the ball back, and it's a free kick.
Do you know what, John? Klopp's actually sat down. Most unusual. It's as though he's saying, not too sure about this. I'm not really sure what I can do.
Well, Liverpool have obviously the 3 who were left out today: Henderson, Wijnaldum, Firmino on the bench. I think he just felt that Firmino needed a bit of a rest.
Yeah.
Minamino's on the bench. I mentioned Shaqiri, Harvey Elliott, Nico Williams, who's done well in the 2 matches he's come on. Curtis Jones as well, who signed a new contract yesterday, and Liverpool announced last night. And here is McGinn for Villa, halfway inside his own half. He's got Oxlade-Chamberlain behind him, pulling him back. It's a free kick. McGinn's on his knees, claiming that that's not the first time he's been fouled by Oxlade-Chamberlain. Referee Tierney just says free kick, no more than that. And I think it is true, you know, as has been said, the matches behind closed doors, I think, are a good deal easier for the referees to take charge of.
Yes.
There isn't the pressure from the crowd, and I think the players don't get as worked up. And there's the half-time whistle, and it's 0-0. Not a great spectacle, but if it's 0-0 in just over an hour's time from now, Aston Villa will be absolutely delighted. Mark Lawrenson.
Yeah, we should praise them, because defensively they've been very, very good. They're organised, as you would expect a team coached by Dean Smith and John Terry in terms of defensively. They've carried a small threat, but you might argue that they've carried more threat than Liverpool, and they will be delighted at the moment at the 0-0, and Liverpool just aren't quite at it. You know, talk about form is you can't just turn it on. Even the best teams in the world cannot do that, and you can see with Liverpool that they've won the league and they're probably playing at 80%. Left the 3 players out that you obviously described, but yeah, they're not very good, in all honesty, at the moment.
Half-time here at Anfield, Liverpool 0, Aston Villa 0.
I guess, Mark Lawrence, and penny for the thoughts of Dean Smith, because it's been a fantastic first half in terms of the amount of danger they've been in, but he's going to be worried about Jack Grealish. Yeah.
It looked, though, Steve, that he looked like he had bandages on his feet or ankles, and I think one of the physios seemed to cut something away. Whether it was just gone very tight on him, I don't know, because on both occasions after his treatment he got up and he's running. So yeah, they'll be working on him now, I presume, in the dressing room. So in the next 15 minutes we'll have an idea if he comes back on. Obviously he's not too bad.
22 straight home Premier League wins for Liverpool. It's understandable that there would be a drop-off. It's a great opportunity for Villa now.
Fantastic opportunity. And there really is a swirling wind here, and that's not making an excuse. It's swirling wind, and you've got to deal with it. And also, the pitch is a little bit lifeless, which hasn't helped. There's probably, as daft as it sounds, too much grass on it, but they're just now actually soaking it with water, so maybe that might make it a little bit skiddier, might make it a little bit of a better game, and might help certainly Liverpool's passing, because it's not been very good.
Mark, John, thank you very much for the time being. We've got second half commentary to come then at Anfield. So it's Liverpool 0, Aston Villa 0. If it were to stay that way, if Liverpool were to fail to win a home Premier League game for the first time in 23 matches, Villa would be level on points with Watford. So Villa 18th, Watford 17th, just outside the relegation zone. And Villa would stay in the bottom 3 by virtue of one single goal. It is so tight down there. Other scores on this 5 Live Premier League Sunday so far today. Seems a long time ago now, but it finished Burnley 1, Sheffield United 1, Newcastle 2, West Ham 2. Cracking game that at St James's Park. West Ham ahead twice in that match. We've still got Southampton versus Manchester City to come as well, so we'll be at St Mary's for the first time very, very shortly. We'll also get reaction to Valtteri Bottas' victory in the Austrian Grand Prix, a race that saw Lewis Hamilton cross the line in second, but end up being demoted to 4th, and we'll hear more about Enable's upset at Sandown. We'll get the news now on 5 Live with Jim Taylor.
On digital, BBC Sounds, smart speaker and online.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
People across the UK have joined in with a special one-off clap for carers to mark the 72nd anniversary of the NHS. That's how it sounded in Cardiff a few minutes ago. The National Health Service was launched on the 5th of July 1948. In a video message to mark the occasion, Prince Charles paid tribute to staff working through the most testing time in the service's history. Catherine Keaton is a nurse who also turned 72 this year.
I don't see it as a job. I see it as a passion, and that's why I'm still working. The National Health Service is a great place to work, and there's such a great diversity where people come together, share knowledge, direct each other, and it's amazing.
A further 22 people have died in the UK after testing positive for coronavirus. It brings the total number of deaths to 44,220. The head of NHS England, Sir Simon Stevens, has called for plans to properly fund the UK's social care system to be in place within a year. He says the crisis has shone a very harsh spotlight on the resilience of social care. The Metropolitan Police say there were no significant issues across London as people in England enjoyed their first night out since lockdown was eased. A few bars did have to close early because of crowding. John Apter is the chair of the Police Federation. He was on patrol in Southampton.
Predominantly they weren't being aggressive, but just when they were coming outside of the pubs and the restaurants and the bars, they were all gathering in large numbers, and there was no social distancing, and it's really difficult, near on impossible, to police that. There's other things that we can enforce, but social distancing, walking around with a tape measure, is not one.
The Chancellor is set to announce a big increase in the number of job centre staff because of the financial impact of coronavirus. Rishi Sunak will give more details later this week. Meanwhile, the singer Katie Tunstall says the pandemic could be an extinction-level event for some music venues and force an entire generation of artists to quit the industry. She spoke to 5 Live earlier.
It's dire. It's an extinction level event. And I have seen pushback online of people saying, why does it deserve it? Look, this is a 5.2 billion per year industry, 210,000 jobs. What they need a 50 million cash injection to prevent them from collapsing.
The government says it's working with venues so that concerts and events can resume as soon as possible.
5 Live Breakfast.
Doddy Weir, Scottish rugby legend who's been living with motor neurone disease for the last few years.
Nicky Campbell, big man. We've got to celebrate life. And this weekend's going to be pretty much that, getting to 50. I never for 1 minute thought I would do that 3.5 years ago.
I can't wait to celebrate 50, Doddy. I'm really looking forward to it.
Reaching that milestone is very exciting. My good lady's been an amazing carer. There's a lot more positives. Have a wee smile about life, so things are not that bad, big man.
You call me a big man. You're a giant.
5 Live Breakfast. Back Monday morning from 6.
More live Premier League football than anyone else.
5 Live's Premier League Sunday.
With Steve Crossman.
Good afternoon, welcome back to 5 Live Premier League Sunday. It's Liverpool 0, Aston Villa 0 at half-time in our third of 4 commentary games this Sunday afternoon. It will be a massive upset if Liverpool fail to win that game. 22 home Premier League wins in a row. It's also always a big upset when Enable fails to win a race. Finished runner-up to Gaiath in the Eclipse Stakes at Sandown this afternoon. Formula 1, Valtteri Bottas, this was a bit of a surprise as well. Not that he won the first F1 race of the season, but that Lando Norris of McLaren got his first ever podium, finishing third. Ferrari's Charles Leclerc was second. Now, Lewis Hamilton actually crossed the line in second place, but he was then demoted to fourth after a collision with Alex Albon. Let's hear from Hamilton now.
It's not been a great weekend for me, and I think that yesterday was entirely my fault. It was a bit odd for sure today in the preparation to all of a sudden get a penalty, but it is what it is, and that didn't destabilise me. It just encouraged me to just go out there and try and drive as best I could, and I feel like I did. Obviously, I had great pace to catch up with Valtteri, and then a really unfortunate scenario with Alex. I mean, I can't believe we've come together again. But it really felt like a racing incident. But either way, I'll take whatever penalty they feel I deserve and move forwards.
Let's bring Jenny Gowan. More upset than anything else, Lewis Hamilton.
Lewis always wears his heart on his sleeve, and I think after everything that happened this weekend, he's probably just a little bit exhausted by it all. He gave it his all. And I think at times he felt like the team didn't really help him out a lot. He asked to be on different tyres and that wasn't given to him. He asked if he could try and really battle with Bottas, and they said, no, you need to protect your car. And both Mercedes had reliability issues. So it definitely wasn't plain sailing for Lewis Hamilton this week. And I think when you put so much energy into something, to come away without the result you think you deserve is quite difficult.
Jenny, thank you very much. We'll also have reaction in the Checkered Flag podcast, which you can download very soon. Speaking of not necessarily coming away with what you wanted, well, West Ham United, as it stands, if the score were to finish 0-0 at Anfield, they would be 3 points clear of the relegation zone. But it could easily have been 5. It finished Newcastle 2, West Ham 2, but West Ham led twice. They were pegged back quickly on both occasions. Rob Schofield has been speaking to David Moyes.
Yeah, I think when we look back, we'll probably think that we're disappointed after getting in front a couple of times, certainly the second time, to concede the goal so quickly. And then I think by the end, we probably were the team who were going to have with the better 2 or 3 chances when it got near the end of the game. But you've got to remember, Newcastle are in form. They've showed really good form so far this season. I thought they played well in the first half and made it difficult for us in lots of ways. But all credit to the players stuck at it. A point wasn't the worst result, but I think we'll all feel as if there was a chance here to take 3.
Pat Nevin, who was on our commentary team today, was talking about how frustrated you must have been to go ahead away from home twice and not walk away with all 3 points. But have you seen enough from your players today to suggest that between now and the end of the season you will get enough and you will climb clear?
Yeah, I saw enough from the players before the lockdown, so I knew exactly what I was getting. The players are in good spirits. We've played well in midweek with a great win at Chelsea. Said we'll come here today and done okay. I'm disappointed that we didn't defend better at the times, which really mattered, because ultimately it's great now that we're scoring goals, but what we don't want to be doing is a team which is conceding too many goals, because that isn't a good thing. But we started to find the net a few times and probably could have done a few more times today. But ultimately we've got to stop conceding if we're going to win the games.
So a draw there, 0-0 at half-time in Liverpool. Aston Villa will be back at Anfield shortly. It finished in a draw as well at Turf Moor. Burnley won, Sheffield United won. James Tarkowski put Burnley ahead. Sheffield United equalised with 10 minutes to go with a brilliant volley from John Egan, of all people, up from the back. That goal vitally important as well, because 8th place in the Premier League may well be enough to play in Europe next season. That goal means Sheffield United stay 8th, ahead of Burnley in 9th. We heard from Chris Wilder earlier. Let's hear from Sean Dyche now, speaking to Martin Fisher.
I think we're at maximum stretch at the moment with the squad. They were very competitive today in an awkward condition game. The wind's blowing everywhere. We made chances that should have really got the game done, especially Dwight's chance at 1-0. I think that's the game done. And it's not, and fair play to them. They've got a resilience about them. We've seen it all season. And they've got a little bit lucky with the build-up to the corner, and then a little bit lucky with the corner because it gets a little nick and puts us off our line a little bit. So, no, certainly not disappointed. Maximum effort from a group of players at a full stretch.
Were you slightly surprised to be in front at the break?
Well, they had a chance early on, didn't take it literally in the first probably minute, and then we had a golden chance, of course, and didn't take that either. I thought they had the better part of the first half, but without really opening us up much. So that happens in the Premier League, sometimes. And like I say, we've got a group, we're putting in bodies all over. I mean, Eric Peters, he's been playing 3-4 positions at times. He's done terrific for us, and Kevin Long comes in and does terrific today, I thought. And we're asking a lot of these players. So, like I say, we have to fight for everything we've got at the minute, and it's another point on the table.
Our final commentary of this evening is a 7 o'clock kickoff at St Mary's, Southampton against Manchester City. You can watch this one as well on BBC One, 6:35. The coverage begins. We're up for us on 5 Live. Alistair Bruce Ball and Karen Carney are there for Southampton against Manchester City. Evening, guys.
Hi, Steve. I've heard everyone from all the football today talking about the wind playing a part in the games. I heard John Murray and Mark Lawrenson talking about it at Anfield. We've definitely got that here on the South Coast today as well. It's the very definition of bright and breezy. Lovely sunshine, but a real chill, strong wind at the moment.
I guess, Karen, we're talking force of nature at the moment to stop Manchester City if the Liverpool performance and result is anything to go by.
Oh, scary, weren't they, the other day? But I was speaking to Ali, though. I was like, were Liverpool that bad and Manchester City that good? I couldn't work out which one. It was probably a combination of both, wasn't it? But, Southampton, not great at home. So it would be interesting to see what team he puts out today, Manchester City. Does he rotate? Does he keep everyone fresh for August, where they're in for the FA Cup, the Champions League? That's what they're really focusing on, because the Premier League's done now, isn't it?
I think, Steve, those are the two big questions from the Manchester City point of view, aren't they? Team selection, when we get that team news at 6 o'clock ahead of a 7 o'clock kickoff tonight, and then the intensity of the performance, because they were very, very special, weren't they? And on Thursday night, are we going to see the same again? And what will we see from Southampton? What plan has Ralph Hasenhüttl got to try and stop them? We've just seen the Southampton manager arrive. He looked ready for a day at the office, a 9 to 5. He had a leather satchel slung over his shoulder, and he was carrying a duffel bag as well. He looked ready for business.
Ali, Karen, thank you very much. We'll be with them for commentary then of Southampton against Manchester City. Our 4th commentary game of the day on 5 Live Premier League Sunday. We have 10 commentaries next week. We've got Tottenham-Everton on Monday. On Wednesday, West Ham, Burnley and Brighton against Liverpool. On Thursday, Bournemouth-Tottenham and Villa-Manchester United. On Saturday, we've got Liverpool against Burnley. And then 4 more games on Sunday. Wolves-Everton, Villa-Palace, Spurs-Arsenal and Bournemouth-Leicester. But let's take it right back into the now. Brilliant first half for Aston Villa at Anfield. Can they become the first team for 23 Premier League games to leave Anfield with anything. Your commentary team, Mark Lawrenson, with our correspondent John Murray.
Thank you, Steve. Yes, welcome back to Anfield, which is now under grey clouds. What blue sky there was seems to have moved away towards the Pennines. The Liverpool team are out there, no changes for them at half-time, so it'll still be Alisson, Alexander-Arnold, Gomez, Captain Van Dijk and Robertson, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Fabinho, Keita, Salah, Origi and Mane. And the Villa players in their green shirts, bottle green shirts with the red numbers and the red trim and the black sleeves, black shorts, black socks are out, and Jack Grealish is there, Mark Lawrenson, so it looks as though he's okay to start the second half, the captain.
Yeah, I just watched him walk out. He just seemed to be limping a little bit, but that's not unusual for footballers, John. They tend to all limp for one reason or the other, and he's just done a couple of little sprints, so they wouldn't risk him, would they?
Yes.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't have thought so.
No, and he's taking his position there, just to the left of the centre circle. So Villa with Reina, Konsa, Hawes, Mings and Taylor, the back four. Louise with McGinn and Grealish in midfield. El Ghazi and Trezeguet wide, and Davis through the middle. So Liverpool, who have won a top-flight record 23 consecutive home league matches, and all 17 this season at home in the Premier League against Aston Villa, who've not won in 9 matches in all competitions, not since that thrilling win in the second leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final when Trezeguet scored the exciting late winner against Leicester City. Seems like a lifetime ago when that match was played. So the second half underway, Liverpool in the all red with the white numbers and the white trim. It was, if you weren't with us, a half of not many chances the first 45 minutes. Robertson bringing the ball forward, but that's taken away from him by El Ghazi. Clears to the halfway line. Davis very much the lone striker there, winning the header though against Van Dijk, heading it back to Louise. And now Villa playing it forward. McGinn to Grealish. Grealish has Taylor outside him, instead comes back onto his left foot and gives it to McGinn near the halfway line. And then McGinn, the Scotland international, to Grealish again, perhaps a full future England international. Grealish into Davis on the edge of the area, who turned Van Dijk, but the touch was too heavy, Mark Lawrenson, and it ran through to Alisson.
The turn was very good, but he just, as I say, his touch was heavy and just ran through to the Liverpool goalkeeper, and unusual for Van Dijk to be turned in that position, certainly.
So what about Villa then? Just more of the same really for them, eh?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, they've done really, really well. They wouldn't, the classic, wanted the referee to blow his whistle for half-time. I've got to think that Liverpool's passing will improve.
Liverpool are attacking towards the Kop end in the first half. The Kop end with no spectators, just all of the banners. The huge one, the huge club crest banner with all of the managers and trophies right in the middle is being ruffled by the breeze as Liverpool come forward. The ball's played right across the 6-yard box by Alexander-Arnold. That was a real teaser, played in at shin height, bounced a couple of times, and no one in there could get a touch on it.
No, Origi was already in, wasn't he? And Salah was already in, and Mane was the one that came in the back post but was nowhere near it, unfortunately. I'll tell you Liverpool's display, that the manager actually is very, very kind of quiet and subdued on the touchline. Most unusual. It's as though he's like, not that he's accepted that they're not going to hit top form again, but it's just a little bit, well, we're not quite at it.
No, he's pictured on the front of today's match programme, and yes, Liverpool are producing match programmes for their home matches, and he's in one of his great poses, isn't he, with his teeth clenched, and he's punching his chest, and the sort of thing that you normally see him do to the Kop after a great win. We've not seen anything like that from him today.
I think it's the hand on the heart one, isn't it?
It is,
I think.
Yeah.
Just under the badge.
Ball's out of play for a throw. Oxlade-Chamberlain just taking a bang on the knee. Referee Tierney asked if he's okay. He is. Play back underway, and it's played all the way back to goalkeeper Reina. If you just joined us on 5 Live, the World Service are with us as well, and also the commentary without the added artificial crowd noise is available over on 5 Live Sports Extra on your digital radio via BBC Sounds if you prefer that. Konsa can't keep the ball in on the right-hand side. Throw in to Liverpool halfway inside their own half. The assistant over there puts his flag up, and it's absolutely rattling away in the quite strong breeze in front of the Sir Kenny Dalglish stand. Floodlights on. Sky's just suddenly brightening again, and we can see the players silhouettes, their shadows on the pitch.
Talking of Sir Ken, he's in the stand, that I do know.
Yes, he is. I saw a shot of him, so he's down in the level below us. Sir Kenny, as I say, in 1990, when Liverpool last played a match here, kicking off as the new champions, that was his final match as a Liverpool player. A 1-0 win against Derby County. Alexander-Arnold sending a long crossfield path into the path of Origi. Origi now running at Konsa into the penalty area. Danger here for Aston Villa. Origi though turns, gives it back to Keita. Villa have got bodies back in. Keita's cross. I think there's too much on that. The raise, it drifts beyond Salah and beyond the far post and bounces behind for a goal kick.
Just sums them up really. A great ball to Origi. You just think get into your stride, because he's really pacey and strong, and you know you're going to cut inside when the way he plays, but he ended up almost giving the ball away, and then the overhit cross was just really that's Liverpool so far.
Villa taking a short goal kick, Reina, and that's been given away by Hawes to Fabinho in the centre circle. Keita through to Origi, turns onto his right foot. Important challenge back there though to win it, and then clear it away downfield for the run of Trezeguet up against Alexander-Arnold, still going and then weaving his way into the middle of the Liverpool half, which means the red shirts are now back in position. McGinn knows, ball to Grealish, box, left-hand side, shot, saved by Alisson, it bounces out, he parried it, and as he parried it, the offside flag went up on the far side, and it's a free kick to Liverpool.
Did the offside flag go up against Grealish or the follow-up?
Couldn't have been Grealish, surely.
I wouldn't have thought so, no.
Because McGinn played it through, or maybe it was just looking at the replay.
Yes,
yeah,
it was.
Just come back from an offside position.
There you go.
Good spot from the assistant. Origi at the other end for Liverpool, plays it across, took a deflection, almost reached Salah, but Mings was quickly in there, and he had to be to clear it away, left foot instep, out for a throw on the far side.
The game just opened up a little bit, John, in the last couple of minutes.
That's a worry for Villa, unless they score, of course. 0-0, Liverpool 0, Aston Villa 0. Sadio Mane puts his foot, plays it infield. Keita tried to give him it back, and as a result, Liverpool lose possession, and Villa break away downfield with Grealish, and Grealish taking it on from the centre circle, using El Ghazi. El Ghazi's low shot is parried and saved away behind for a corner. Davis was waiting in the middle, but El Ghazi went for goal from the angle, and Alisson saved.
3 against 2, wasn't it? 3 Villa players against the 2 Liverpool defenders, and it was a decent save. Wasn't the best struck shots, was it? But great for Villa, very much on the counter attack, but a real opportunity. Look at the manager now, John.
Yeah, hands in his pockets.
Yeah,
Klopp.
Yeah.
Scarf, black snood pulled up over his nose, and it's a corner to Villa. Here it is. Left-footed in swing out of the back post, which is headed down by Mings, still inside the 6-yard box and cleared away by Liverpool. Could have gone anywhere. Mings actually headed it across the 6-yard box. He might have gone for goal there, although he was under pressure. Alisson launches this downfield. Salah up against Taylor. Salah got his chest to it, but Taylor was very tight there.
Taylor's done well today.
Yeah, good experience.
Yeah.
Not started since January, so Target's been playing, but he's got an injury, so Taylor has come into the team, but he's had, so far, I don't want to curse him, he's had a good afternoon in the main against Salah. Liverpool winning it back, but that's a free kick for a tug on McGinn by Oxlade-Chamberlain. Louise gives McGinn a pat on the chest.
I think he's going to change this, Jurgen Klopp. I think he's seen enough.
Who's down there warming up? Henderson?
Elliot, Henderson, Wijnaldum, is it?
And I think is that Jones there as well? Ball played forward for Villa.
It is.
And Van Dijk is clearing it away on the edge of the box. Jurgen Klopp is looking along the touchline towards his 3 substitutes. And Villa concede a free kick centre field. Douglas Luiz picks the ball up and throws it away. And referee Tierney decides to turn a blind eye.
Well, he threw it high up in the air, didn't he? It didn't actually go that far. He just threw it high up in the air, so he was just wasting a few seconds, I suppose.
Yeah, they're making the changes, Mark, or at least a change, and I think Jordan Henderson is going to be certainly a player coming on. Villa winning the ball back. Trezeguet has got the ball down and he's racing down the left wing, but Oxlade-Chamberlain, excellent piece of work from Oxlade-Chamberlain to stop his progress and win the ball back against the Villa number 17. Trezeguet, real name Mahmoud Hassan, the Egyptian international, but they call him Trezeguet after the French footballer of the same name. It's a nickname which was given to him by one of his early coaches, and it has stuck. Villa, McGinn has Oxlade-Chamberlain all over his back. It's been a bit of a contest that between the two of them, the Englishman and the Scotsman.
Yeah, it's been good contest.
It has,
very good.
Yeah, quite a brawny contest as well, actually. Now the two of them, and a free kick to Villa for Oxlade-Chamberlain all over the back of him. 9 minutes played, still Liverpool 0, Aston Villa 0. So the position at the bottom, West Ham getting a point at Newcastle earlier, they have 31 points. Watford, who were limp last night at Stamford Bridge, they've got 28. Then Villa and Bournemouth have 27. So if they could get something here, Villa, how valuable it would be. Trezeguet crossing from the left. Alisson comes and gets a punch on the ball and claims he was being impeded. Referee Tierney says no, and in any case it was a good punch, and Liverpool bringing it forward with Sadio Mane as they cross the halfway line. As I say, attacking towards the Kop to our right in this second half. Now it's Oxlade-Chamberlain on the right hand side, a low cross into the penalty area, but too close to Reina, who's able to leap forward, all in yellow, and claim the ball.
Yeah, he needs to be another kind of 3 or 4 yards out, and then Reina wouldn't dare come because somebody might just nick the ball past him. There was nothing wrong with the Alisson thing, because the Aston Villa player just stood his ground, which he was entitled to do, and Alisson came over the top.
I think it's going to be at least a double change for Liverpool. Henderson, I think Wijnaldum, possibly Firmino. He's taking off his tracksuit top, Firmino. Yeah, I think he will be coming on.
Interesting that it's not Minamino.
There's Fabinho playing it forward towards Salah, turns, gives it infield, and it's worked back by Mane back to the right hand side, but that was behind Oxlade-Chamberlain, and Villa have been able to get back into position. Still goalless on 5 Live here at Anfield. Oxlade-Chamberlain with a cross, that's a good looking cross, headed away in the middle by Hause, comes out to Origi on the left hand side in the full back position, plays it back behind him to Robertson, then Keita, back to Origi on the left hand side, right footed cross from him, that's blocked by Konza, who came across, got his body in front of it, slightly dangerously with his arm sticking out, but it struck him on the body. Konza, right back, and now Origi, a crossfield pass, but that was flighted, and so Trezeguet was able to get up and win the ball against Alexander-Arnold, and Villa in danger here of losing it, but Grealish is just cleverly actually wins the free kick.
Yeah,
although it is that right foot that he's been worried about, but he's quickly up this time. Right, ball out of play, it's a free kick, and Liverpool aren't going to make the change just yet. Still 0-0, Liverpool 0, Aston Villa 0. We've got commentary on Southampton against Manchester City to come. That's a 7 o'clock kick-off time. All kick-off times are available in this project restart, so 7 o'clock tonight. And I'm wondering, Juliet's pointing down, are Villa going to make some changes as well? Certainly Liverpool about to make the changes. Villa with it on the edge of their box. Mings just taking it away from Salah, playing it across for the central defensive partner Hause to get underneath it to the halfway line. Fabinho gets a bang in the face as he's challenged in the air by Trezeguet. Oh, Douglas Luiz has won it back from Van Dijk, and now Luiz to the edge of the penalty area. El Ghazi's there, nice from El Ghazi, but Van Dijk on the covering challenge took it past Robertson beautifully, but Van Dijk made up for his earlier little error in the centre circle. Douglas Luiz though crossing, Alisson able to catch it just outside the 6-yard box.
Good break by Villa though, certainly the way they pinched the ball off Liverpool. Should have done better with it.
Liverpool inching closer to making this triple substitution. Keita playing it to Mane. Mane has appeared on the right hand side in the Villa left back area. Into the box now, puts his foot on the ball. The ball is stationary inside the Villa penalty area. Now it's moving again onto his left foot. The cross headed away up in the air by El Ghazi, who heads it further away out towards Fabinho, and now Robertson, Origi, Origi has 2 Villa men on him. And then infield, Keita again. Keita's cross blocked away by Douglas Luiz. Now Robertson again, Origi, and then forward for the run of Robertson to the byline, pulls it across, and it's cleared away by Taylor, coming across from left back on the edge of the 6-yard box, plants the ball halfway up the Kop.
It's just a feeling here, I don't know if you have it, John, that Liverpool are inching forward a little bit, and they've started actually to increase the tempo.
Well, Origi, remember that game earlier in the season between the two when Villa led for such a long time, and Liverpool turned it around with 2 late goals. Don't forget as well, Villa inflicted the heaviest defeat of the season on Liverpool. The Liverpool youngsters in the Carabao Cup when the first team were off in Qatar. And they're holding them here, 0-0. Liverpool taking a short corner, Salah gives it back, and then the offside flag is up against Alexander-Arnold, who took the corner.
I don't think Salah realised, did he?
Right, triple change. Firmino getting a pat on the back by his captain, Henderson. So a triple change. It's going to be
Origi's coming off.
Oxlade-Chamberlain's coming off for Wijnaldum.
And the other one is?
And
would it be
Fabinho?
Yeah.
For Henderson. And is it Origi? I don't think his number's gone up yet, has it? But he is running off the field.
If he's not, he needs to come back on the pitch.
Right, Origi off, Firmino on. And that's it. So 2 changes in midfield and Firmino taking the place of Origi.
So the famous front three are now back in operation.
Yes, the famous front three.
Let's see what they can do.
As was widely reported yesterday, the Manchester United front three have now scored more goals than the Liverpool front three this season.
Yeah.
Firmino, who has scored only 1 goal in his last 13 appearances. And Reina with the ball. And he scissor kicks it away downfield. Alisson at the other end comes out of his penalty area and with his right foot sends it to the halfway line. Konza and sends it back. McGinn jumps for a header in centre field. His tussle with Oxlade-Chamberlain is over with the substitution of the Liverpool number 15. Still 0-0. Liverpool playing it to Alexander-Arnold here on the right-hand side. Now Gomez. And then Keita. Keita with Luiz in front of him. Alexander-Arnold back to Henderson. Now Van Dijk. Ball to the left-hand side. This has the feel of more of Liverpool in their rhythm as they attack towards the Kop.
Straight away, there's just a little bit of more movement as well.
Yeah, Firmino. And now Mane trying to get round into the penalty area towards the byline against Konza, but he did well enough there, Konza, the right back, and was fouled by Mane.
No, they've done well again defensively. So far so good. Second half Aston Villa. Just wonder whether Dean Smith will counter-attack the Liverpool changes.
Well, he has Samatta among his substitutes, and El Mohammadi's always a possibility with what he can do from a wide area. Van Dijk heading the ball over the halfway line. Konza gets up, it bounces down for Keita. Now Robertson. Luiz puts in a challenge on Keita. Here is Henderson, who's able to find a pass out to the right-hand side. Alexander-Arnold evades the challenge that first came in from Trezeguet, and then Trezeguet a little heavy with the challenge that he put in on Wijnaldum. No free kick though, the ball bounces down, and it's been cleared away on the edge of the penalty area by Aston Villa. I think Wijnaldum's another one who visited the Barbers. Actually, his hair was quite long, but he's back to his more familiar look, the Liverpool number 5. Liverpool coming forward, Firmino onto his right foot. Now Wijnaldum on the edge of the area, passes it behind Mane by a distance, and it's harmlessly for Villa, rolling out for a throw-in.
Look like he's still in the Barbers passing that one. Well, it's probably his first touch, in fairness to him.
Yeah. So Liverpool now with Henderson on in the central position, and Keita and Wijnaldum either side of him. Almost 20 minutes played in the second half, so the second half drinks break won't be too far away. As I say, we'll have the Southampton-Manchester City team news before too long, but Liverpool coming forward, ball into the penalty area, Taylor clears away, it's slipped by Trezeguet, Alexander-Arnold was onto that, but it was cleared away again by Douglas Luiz, and now here's Davis does well to hold off Robertson, and now Villa are breaking, it's 4 against 3, Grealish up to the edge of the penalty area, on his right foot into the D, shoots, but it's blocked by the backside of Van Dijk on the edge of the area. It opened up really nicely there for him, but in the end he could only hit Van Dijk with his shot, Grealish.
Yeah, well done Henderson, because he ran back and Gomez was wasn't. Well done Henderson, because he ran back and Gomez was wasn't quite sure whether to come out confront Grealish or not, but in the end Henderson did so, and it enabled Van Dijk to make the block.
Second time they've been able to break like that though, Villa.
Yeah.
Liverpool committing themselves a little more downfield in the second half, but they've won a corner at the other end, and so a corner to Liverpool from the far side.
Simple facts are Villa played really well, John.
They have. They've taken a couple of points since the restart. The rather controversial point against Sheffield United in the first match back, when the goal line technology didn't work. So they got a point from that, and a point at Newcastle. But it's a corner that Villa have to defend here. Alexander-Arnold swings it in, Reina comes, gets a punch on it, he's been fouled. It was bouncing out to Wijnaldum, who was shaping up to have a shot through a crowded penalty area, but the free kick's been given. He was impeded, Reina just feeling his chest, his neck.
Yeah, it was Van Dijk, I think. Yeah, Van Dijk sort of jumped at him and turned his back on him.
So still 0-0. In fact, since the restart, none of the bottom 4 have won a match yet. They've won 3 points between them. Wow. Here's Davis on the right-hand side for Villa. And when you take notice of that, you think a win now for any of those teams would be all the more worth.
Massive. Absolutely massive.
Imagine if they got a win here.
Yeah. Well, hey,
it's not impossible.
They look as likely as Liverpool do.
Liverpool with the ball at the back. Liverpool, who are unbeaten in 56 home Premier League matches, but being held here 0-0 by Aston Villa.
What I will say, John, is that the game's now starting to get stretched.
The last team to get anything here against Liverpool in the Premier League were Leicester City in the January of last year, January of 2019, which was a 1-1 draw. Here's Keita. Keita, forward to Mane. Almost 3/4 of the way through the match. Drinks break will be coming very shortly on this breezy, cool afternoon. Henderson to Alexander-Arnold, who had to be in quickly against Trezeguet. And now Henderson having to turn under pressure from Grealish on the halfway line and has to pass it back to Alisson.
Just looked at Gomez and saying, why on earth did he give it me there?
So Gomez now out with it. The wind, this gusty wind blowing around Anfield. You can see the players' shirts rippling down there. And these are tight-fitting shirts, don't forget. Here's Henderson, now bringing it forward. Henderson swinging a high pass towards the right-hand side. It's headed infield. Konza takes that down really nicely, takes it away from Firmino. One long pass forward from Konza. He's looking for Trezeguet. He's asking a lot of Trezeguet, and the ball bounces away and out of play for a throw-in. And the whistle goes for the drinks break. 3/4 of the way through the match, and it's still Liverpool 0, Aston Villa 0.
Yeah, I think it's so important, this little break now for Aston Villa and Dean Smith, because obviously Liverpool have made the 3 changes, so they know exactly what they're going to face Villa for the last quarter of the game. And if they continue playing the way they played, they're going to get at least a point here.
A couple of things while we've got the drinks break. Tonight, Dotun Adebayo's new overnight programme begins. So every midweek night on 5 Live, Dotun, who's a lovely bloke, Mark, he'll be on the air every night. So if you've got young children, or if you're a shift worker, if you're up in the night, he's always a good listener. And he's got the World Football phone-in back on Tuesday, 1 o'clock in the morning. Tim Vickery is part of that.
1 o'clock in the morning?
1 o'clock in the morning.
Good effort.
Yeah, very good effort, although Tim is in Brazil, of course.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, live test cricket is back on Wednesday, the first test. England against the West Indies at Southampton, behind closed doors, obviously. The test match special, live on air, 10:25, and 11 o'clock start. 5 Live Sports Extra, BBC Sounds for that.
That'll feel like summer is here.
It will, yeah. And I very much hope, I'm sure they will, mark the death this week of Sir Everton Weeks, who's and I've been reading the obituaries and the stories about him. Sounds an absolutely remarkable man and a remarkable cricketer.
Was he one of those? Was it the three W's?
3 W's.
And did they all play in the Lancashire League?
They did. Yeah. He played in Bay Cup. Yeah. Everton Weeks.
Not Rishton, Bay Cup.
And his dad was a football fan and named him after the club across the park, which led Jim Laker to say, it's just as well his dad wasn't a West Bromwich Albion fan. Play back underway. Liverpool 0, Aston Villa 0. Mings clearing the ball away ahead of Salah. Comes back. Firmino. Just wonder what Dean Smith will have said during that drinks break. They're a quarter of the match away from getting such a valuable point here. But Liverpool have already done for them in the Premier League once this season when they thought they were getting something. Henderson, angle ball into the box, but Reina comes, the former Liverpool goalkeeper, commanding, keeping a clean sheet against his old club. That could be a decent bit of management, you know, bringing Reina back in, Dean Smith, for this match. He just exudes calm, doesn't he?
Yeah, I've seen it all, done it all, and Tranquillo,
I'll give you half a point
in Spanish.
Yeah, on loan from Milan. What a great career he's had. Napoli and Milan.
To
now
that,
back at Anfield,
right
playing for Aston Villa.
The sound of footsteps
and Liverpool,
as a soldier fills the boots.
With 20 minutes to go, plus added time. Ball to the left-hand side. Robertson towards Mane. Mane, who scored the goal against Crystal Palace in the 4-0. That was a real romp. Nothing like that today. The last home match. Alexander-Arnold now into the box, and it's played across by Keita to Mane in the middle, who finds the underside of the crossbar, but it bounces down into the goal and up into the roof of the net, and Liverpool have found the goal in the last 20 minutes, and Villa's heads go down. Liverpool are in front 1-0, and Sadio Mane with his 20th goal for Liverpool this season.
Well, that's a great ball that played in, and in fact the move was very, very good. You've spoken about the wind all day, and the ball was on the floor all the time, and they just, for the first time in the game, Liverpool actually dissected Aston Villa's back four, and in the end, like any really outstanding goal, it was very, very simply worked.
Yeah, I thought for a moment there that it was going to bounce off the underside of the crossbar, down under the line and out, but it bounced over the line and up into the roof of the net, and Sadio Mane has scored again, just as he did at Villa Park when he got the winning goal when the sides met in November. Late goal, lad. And it means that Liverpool lead by 1-0 and are on course again for another home win to make it 17 out of 17 this season. Villa, I presume, are going to make a change.
They are.
Yeah,
they are.
So Wijnaldum now approaching Liverpool. No let up, looking for a second goal which would finish Villa off, you would think, in the match. Alexander-Arnold crossing, it's over the top of Konza, it's bounced all the way to the left-hand side to the goal scorer, Sadio Mane, into the box from him. In the area, Firmino twisting and turning. Sadio Mane again, curling it into the box to Salah. Salah, there's no space there, still going. Did he get his legs taken away from him? He went down, Tyrone Mings walks across, stands over Salah, and clearly tells him exactly what he thinks of him there. And the body language suggests that he, Mings, is pretty sure that Salah dived.
Yeah, and Salah didn't make a great deal of it. Obviously, with what would be Mings be 6'4", towering above him.
Yeah, he just got up and carried on, Salah. There was no remonstration. So Liverpool leading by 1-0 against Aston Villa. We've got the team news coming up from St Mary's. Southampton against Manchester City, but Liverpool have got the ball inside the Villa half. It can be very, very breezy at St Mary's, I know. It can be a very cold ground, that, even though it's down there very near the south coast. Liverpool with Salah chipping it back to the halfway line. And then Alexander-Arnold hoists it forward, but that should bounce away through for a goal kick. So that's a very good time to bring in Alistair Bruce Ball with the team news from St Mary's.
You're right, John, it's bright and breezy, and I haven't brought my coat, which is a schoolboy error. 6 changes for Manchester City, 2 in the full-back positions, Cancelo and Zinchenko in for Walker and Mendy, Fernandinho back from suspension, Gundogan on the bench, as is Rodri, Kevin De Bruyne is on the bench. Southampton fans might be pleased to hear that, as is Phil Foden. So in come David Silva, a rare chance to watch him again live before the end of his Manchester City career. Bernardo Silva and Riyad Mahrez start. 3 changes for Southampton, who've been pretty poor at home this season. Stevens, Armstrong and Shea Adams come in. Vestergaard, Smallbone and Long drop out.
Thank you, Ali. Look forward to the commentary later. Villa have made a double change. Samatta, and who was the other player who came on? Was it Jota?
I didn't see John, to be quite honest with you.
It was. And Davis and El Ghazi have made way. Here's a ball over the top for Trezeguet into the Liverpool penalty area, but his touch took it away from him, and Gomez was able to take possession of the ball as he ran away with it into the full-back position. But 1-0 Liverpool lead. Henderson coming forward, head down, plays it to the left-hand side. Goal scorer Mane is there. Robertson 2. Mane on his right foot to the edge of the box to Salah, chips it back up into the area. Villa don't clear. Konza bounced off him, but there was support there, and it is Jota who has come on for Villa as the substitute, one of the 2 substitutes who's playing out on the right-hand side. So Liverpool back in possession. No, a nice dummy of the ball from Firmino. It ran through to Mane, who tried to give him it back, but Konza followed Firmino and was able to clear it away. 1-0 Liverpool lead. 5 Live on the World Service from the BBC as the clouds continue to scud across Merseyside towards the Pennines, which we can see. Actually, they're shrouded. As I look over there, it might be raining over on the Pennines at the moment.
That'd be unusual.
Yeah, wouldn't it just? Here's Keita. Pass, couldn't find Robertson. That was blocked by Jota, and now the ball brought forward by Firmino. Salah back to Firmino. Firmino with a shot. Reina diving to his left, got his fingertips to it and was able to claw it away to his left.
Yeah, it was a good save, but one you're expecting to save because it was a great height for it, but great feet by Firmino.
So it's a corner from the right. With all of this wind and papers going everywhere, I've not got enough hands here. 15 minutes left to play. Liverpool leading 1-0. On course for 17 out of 17 at home in the Premier League this season. Alexander-Arnold with the corner to the near post, headed away by Mings, comes out to Wijnaldum, beats one man, beats a second on the edge of the area. Suggestion there he might have been tugged over. Henderson did foul Mings, and it's a free kick to Villa on the edge of the D.
I did think Wijnaldum was fouled, actually.
However, it's a free kick to Villa.
Ref's had a good game, hasn't he?
He has, Paul.
I think you're absolutely right, though. I think it is easier for the referees behind closed doors.
Without question.
Yeah.
And actually,
no massive pressure on them.
I mean, I've heard it said, but I think that it's a great point in that the dissent doesn't seem to have been as much of an issue either.
No.
Which,
well, sometimes you can swear at referees and it gets lost if there's massive crowd noise, but obviously not anymore.
Yeah. But I think the players do get whipped up, as they would by the supporters.
Oh, yes.
Which is not to say we don't want them back in. We want them back in as soon as we can.
Yes.
Henderson playing it forward towards the centre circle. Comes back to Firmino now on the halfway line. And then Robertson. Mane has pulled out towards the left-hand side, but now he's heading infield up against Konza. Jota is there as well. Mane goes for the byline, gets the crossover, took a deflection. Huge shout by Reina. That's what you could hear.
Yeah.
And he claimed the ball, the Villa goalkeeper. So Samatta is on up front after Davis was substituted. Ali Samatta, Bwana Samatta, the Tanzanian international who was signed in January from Genk. He has scored here this season in the Champions League for Genk.
I hope his nickname is What
Samatta. Entirely possible. As Tyrone Mings has got a problem. And he's dropped to his knees now, and he held the back of his left leg there, so could be hamstring. And
was he not clipped in
by Henderson?
Yeah.
So we'll have a stoppage while he receives treatment. 5 Live on the World Service. If you just joined us, if you have been out this weekend, if you're back on the motorways having a listen, you will have missed the 1-1 draw between Burnley and Sheffield United, the 2-2 draw between Newcastle and West Ham. If you're on a long journey, we've got Southampton and Manchester City for you to listen to later with Alistair Bruce Ball and Karen Carney live from St Mary's. If you're on your way home, that match is on Match of the Day tonight, live, BBC One. You can watch it on BBC Television, and there's a Match of the Day for all of the highlights at 10:30 tonight. And in the Championship, Swansea 2, Sheffield Wednesday 1, Middlesbrough 0, QPR 1, Middlesbrough still in the bottom 3, and West Brom 4, Hull City 2 were the scores. Tyrone Mings is still receiving treatment there. This does not look good.
No, I don't. I mean, Henderson stopped him as in fouled him, but I don't know if what he actually did to him, John. I don't know whether it's
I think he just overstretched.
Muscular or yeah, sure.
So he's still receiving treatment. The Austrian Grand Prix, if you missed the commentary earlier, Valtteri Bottas won that. Hamilton actually finished 4th. Bottas the winner, and the Eclipse Stakes won by Gayaf ahead of Enable, who finished 2nd. Mings off the field now, and I'm told we will hear from Neil Warnock, the Middlesbrough manager, at the end of this match. I'm not sure Mings is going to be able to continue. Ball's out of play. Mings is running back on now and is running freely. He doesn't look comfortable at all. We've got just over 10 minutes to play. So problems for two of Villa's most important men, Grealish and Mings. Looks as though Grealish is going to be able to see it through. We've got Tottenham against Everton tomorrow night on 5 Live. But Liverpool leading by that Sadio Mane goal set up by Keita. The goal coming in the 71st minute, and it might just prove to be the difference between the sides. As Keita chips the ball out of play. Chance for Villa here unexpectedly. McGinn takes the throw, and then a foul just bundled over Keita with the challenge on Samatta. So a free kick.
Mings is coming up for this, so he must be okay.
Yep, he's trotting forward, and he's going to be joined up there by Hawes. Samatta in a position in the D on the edge of the box, and the free kick. Grealish and McGinn are over it. Grealish just moving it to his left. McGinn raises his right arm. The free kick, 40 yards out. McGinn curls it into the back post, but Van Dijk was there on the stretch. Mings behind him, but Van Dijk got his right foot to it to volley it away back from the general direction in which it came. And now McGinn goes for another high ball into the Liverpool left back position. It is chased out there by Trezeguet and then blocked out of play by Wijnaldum for a throw-in next to the corner flag in that deserted corner of Anfield. Sun comes out brightly again. Konza wanders forward and will take this throw-in for Villa. Into the last 10 minutes now. Villa certainly have not given up getting something out of this match here at Anfield. 1-0 down though they are. The throw-in towards the near post headed away by Van Dijk. Firmino chasing after it, but it's just allowed to bounce out of play by Hawes. So throw into Villa, 10 yards inside Liverpool territory. Hawes gets it back, plays it behind him. It's lifted over the top for Samatta, who pulls it down. Grealish is in the middle. Trezeguet as well. Ball into the penalty area. Jota shoots goalwards. It took a deflection, and even though Alisson got there and clawed it down, it was behind when he did that, behind the line. It's a corner to Villa.
Yeah, I think it'll be McGinn left-footed as well, I would have thought.
Villa, I think, are going to make another change presently, but not before this corner is taken. McGinn is going to take it. Yeah, Mark, absolutely spot on. Gets one of the disinfected balls from the little training cone. The corner is taken by McGinn. Back to Luiz. He puts his foot on it. Oh, and then Luiz overhits the pass forward. What a disappointment that is for Villa. He had the opportunity there to use two different Villa players, and he just passed it, overhit it between the two of them, and it was through for a goal kick.
36 is going to come on.
That is Indiana Vasilev, who, as his name suggests, has got an interesting story behind him. So yeah, Vasilev is going to come on very shortly, and also Curtis Jones for Liverpool.
Juliet nearly fell over the parapet there trying to That's my fault. I didn't know what she was pointing at.
1-0 to Liverpool. So Curtis Jones is actually going to come on ahead of young Vasilev. But Gomez playing it back into the centre circle. 7 minutes to go. We'll have interviews as well from this match. Jurgen Klopp and Dean Smith. We'll have those hopefully before the Southampton-Manchester City match kicks off. If not, you'll hear them at half-time. Liverpool just knocking the ball around. Villa can't get the ball back at the moment. Now that is frustrating for relegation-threatened Villa, as Gomez is then nudged over by Samatta, and it's a free kick to the home side. It would extend this.
Who do you reckon's coming off?
Again, probably
Keita?
It is Keita, yes.
Yeah.
So they've changed all three central midfielders, Liverpool. So the Curtis Jones, the 19-year-old, signed a new contract yesterday, and Indiana Vasilev takes the place of Trezeguet. Indiana Vasilev, 19 years old, can play midfield or up front. From a Bulgarian family, but they moved to America when he was a youngster. He was born in Savannah, Georgia. Under 20 international, but could play for Bulgaria. That's very, very much the modern player, that, isn't it? So we'll see how he shapes up.
Dual nationality.
Yep. And this is only his third appearance in the Premier League. So Liverpool 1, Aston Villa 0. And where is Vasilev going? He's playing where Trezeguet was, on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
So Liverpool 1, Aston Villa 0. And Villa with a free kick near the halfway line. 5 minutes plus added time to go.
I was going to say, surely they've got to stick everybody up.
Yeah. Douglas Luiz is going to take this just a few steps inside his own half. They do send Courtney Hawes up. Liverpool are holding a line halfway inside their own half. So Villa have got the players massed around the Liverpool line. Luiz goes for a high ball that Hawes was trying to head in field, but he and the Liverpool player missed it. So it's clear to goal scorer Mane on the halfway line, and Mane plays it forward, and now it's being brought forward by Wijnaldum. Curtis Jones onto the ball. Jones turning infield onto his left foot, but then shooting wildly into the cup.
Yeah, great first touch from him, mine, wasn't it? Just worked his way inside, and just not particularly good strike with his left foot, but he's got some ability, this lad.
He has, and in his own little way he's made his mark on this Liverpool season.
Yeah.
With the goals that he scored in the FA Cup.
They say Stevie G was very prominent in developing him.
Great moment as well when he scored the winner in the 5-5 in the Carabao Cup against Arsenal here. Liverpool in possession inside their own half, hoping to make it a record, top flight record, 24 consecutive home league wins. Liverpool pass to the right hand side to Alexander Arnold, who takes that down beautifully and then passes it forward for the run of Salah, who won't reach that, and Mings, well, he must be okay, Mings. He managed to match the run of Salah.
He's fine.
And it's behind for a goal kick.
They've just got to take a few chances now, haven't they, Aston Villa? You might as well get down 2-0.
Might as well.
Yeah.
Might as well. Absolutely. Yeah. Home to Manchester United on Thursday. That's one of our midweek commentary matches on 5 Live. Jota overhits that pass. Alisson's come for it and claims it right on the edge of the penalty area near the full-back position, but he did that. He'd managed to get it there and overarms it out to Robertson, and now a flick from Mane and the ball forward from Wijnaldum. Robertson with a cross from the left-hand side, but on the edge of the 6-yard box. Mings got there to half volley it high, and it actually, I think, hit the front of the roof of the Kop and bounced down for a corner.
Takes some doing that.
Corner to Liverpool from the left-hand side. 1-0 the score. Sky's darkening again overhead, and the wind, I think, just increasing in intensity here. Corner, an outswinger from Robertson, who raises both arms. And here's the delivery into the near post. Salah tried to flick it on. It was headed away by Samatta. Headed out of the penalty area. Liverpool take up possession again. Wijnaldum weaving a path out towards the left-hand side. Grealish goes with him. He's managed to play it over the top to Robertson. Robertson pulls it back. Douglas Luiz was there for Villa. It bounces down and is cleared away by Hawes, who rather awkwardly controlled it on his thigh, but was able to get the ball away.
Just for a split second you thought he wasn't going to manage to clear it.
Ball back to Alisson at the other end. This could be his 13th clean sheet of the season in the Premier League, which would draw him alongside Nick Pope, who did concede today in the 1-1 against Sheffield United. Alexander-Arnold, and passing it back to Gomez. Alistair Bruce-Ball and Karen Carney standing by to bring you commentary on Southampton-Manchester City. But Liverpool coming forward. Jones to Henderson. Henderson to the edge of the penalty area. Now Robertson on the left. Robertson's cross to the back post. Salah heads it down. Chance for Jones. Right foot. 2-0 Liverpool. And Curtis Jones, the day after signing a new contract, scores his first Premier League goal for Liverpool and wraps up yet another home win for Jurgen Klopp's Premier League winning team. Liverpool 2, Aston Villa 0.
Did I detect a slight deflection as well in there from the shot? I thought, I mean, it's just extremely well taken when you consider the wind swirling, as we kept going on about it throughout the course of the afternoon. And a better move from Liverpool as well, wasn't it?
It was. They were all over Aston Villa there, and whether it did take a touch off Mings, who was standing in between Jones and the goal. Maybe it did, yeah.
Like
just off his chest. Yeah, just glanced his chest, took it away from Reina.
Yeah, and also I think rendering Reina as well, not only helpless but also unsighted.
So it's 2-0 and a great moment, great weekend for young Curtis Jones. We mentioned the highlights that he's had this season. That's right up there, and a clench of the fist from him as well when the ball hit the back of the net. Great times for the 19-year-old, the Liverpudlian. And
they're going to make another change, Liverpool, John.
And it's going to be young Nico Williams.
Yeah.
So that's it for Villa in this match. The goal being scored, I think it might have been the 90th minute, maybe the 89th in which it went in. But that finishes them off. But there have been lots of encouraging things for Villa in this performance that they can take into the remaining 5 matches. And here they come with Grealish inside the penalty area, who curls it low, but what a save from Alisson from the angle. Got down there, that was heading in on the curl inside the far post, but Alisson got down quickly, put a hand to it and pushed it away and beyond the far post for a corner.
That's what makes these guys world-class goalkeepers. Don't do anything for 15-20 minutes, and then when they're called upon to make a top save, they always seem to be able to pull it off.
2-0 to Liverpool. Here's the corner, which is headed up and away by Robertson. Comes out to Salah, and Salah loses it to Jota. Took a deflection on the pass that hit Wijnaldum. He couldn't clear it. Jota left-footed to the edge of the area. Van Dijk stoops down and heads it away. But the game's over now for Villa. We're deep into added time. We're in the 2nd minute of added time, and Nico Williams waits out now with the ball inside their own penalty area. Alisson finding Alexander-Arnold, whose pass in field has actually landed at the feet of Douglas Luiz. Luiz to Grealish, backing away on the left wing, taking on Alexander-Arnold, still going, then flicks it back with his right foot to Luiz. Douglas Luiz now into the 3rd minute of added time. Back heel from Douglas Luiz, just a gentle one down the line to Grealish, and then on the edge of the box, it's worked in there by Vasilev. Vasilev gets it back, goes for a right-footed shot that fades away. He wanted to draw it in, and it's behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, it was always swerving as soon as it left his right foot, wasn't it?
And we will see a change for Liverpool, which is change number 5, with Robertson being replaced by Nico Williams, who will come on as a substitute for the 3rd consecutive game. And,
76.
Number 76. So whether he goes across to left back Alexander-Arnold's still on the field, and it looks as though he will, because Alexander-Arnold has stayed as right back. So off he goes to take up the position as left back. Into the 4th minute of added time. Liverpool leading by 2-0. Sadio Mane and Curtis Jones. And still we play. Alisson's goal kick downfield. Villa knocking it back. A rainbow appears over the top of the Sir Kenny Dalglish stand. So there is rain in the air. The sun is shining. And Liverpool are on the way to what's been quite a hard-fought 2-0 win, Mark Lawrenson.
Yeah, it's I mean, at times it was a scrappy display. Obviously spoken about the win, which really has spoilt the quality of the game. But you know, like all good sides, John, they've found a way to win, which is the most important thing.
Yeah, which is something that Aston Villa just don't seem to be able to do at the moment. And Liverpool coming forward again. Mane left side of the penalty area, but overhits his cross on the stretch. Salah, though, has got possession again. Salah into the penalty area to Wijnaldum, which bounces off the Dutchman and through to Reina. A 3rd goal for Liverpool would be really tough on Villa, as Jota is caught in possession in centre field. So Liverpool have got it back. Perhaps time for one more attack. We are in the 5th minute of added time now. Southampton against Manchester City on the way on 5 Live and on BBC One. Firmino, square to Jones. Jones turns and gives it back towards Alexander-Arnold near the halfway line. Then Jordan Henderson, square. The ball goes between the legs of Wijnaldum, but he receives it back from Nico Williams, and then Liverpool have it again in the centre circle. Referee Tierney just waiting to see if he has a look at his Liverpool have won it by 2-0. Jurgen Klopp comes across and touches forearms with Dean Smith. Villa were in the game for a long time, but it is a 20th Premier League defeat of the season, and now Villa have just the 5 matches to try and haul themselves out of the bottom 3. But for Liverpool, another win. That's 17 out of 17 at home in the Premier League this season. They are trying to become the first team to win all of their matches at home in the top flight of English football since Sunderland in the 1800s, and it is a record 24th consecutive home league win. Mane and Jones, Mark Lawrenson, with second half goals.
Yeah, and it wasn't an imperious display by any means by Liverpool, but good enough in the end, I think, and it took a real quality move and goal really to separate both sides. And of course Curtis Jones managed to get a second, and that was game over. Nothing wrong with the spirit of Aston Villa, nothing wrong with them defensively as well. You know, I thought they played extremely well without really creating enough opportunities. It made it very difficult for Liverpool, but obviously their poor run still goes on, and from Liverpool's point of view it looked really it was going to be 0-0 all day, but in the end, as I said to you just before the end, that, you know, good teams find a way to win, and yet again Liverpool have found another way to win. But unlucky Aston Villa, a very brave performance today.
Yep, 2 goals in the last 20 minutes, won it for the new champions. Liverpool 2, Aston Villa 0.
85058 at 5 Live Sport. Claire's a Villa fan, says we just need that extra effort for the last few games, bit of luck, other results to go for us. Trevor says, I'm still not sure John McGinn is totally fit, not the player he was last season, hasn't been able to have the influence since coming back. I think, Mark, we'd be doing Villa a huge disservice if we just sort of went down there, Liverpool aren't quite at it line, wouldn't we? Because they were great today.
No, they were really good. I mean, you know, they stopped Liverpool playing. They had a couple of opportunities as well themselves, and that's all you can really do.
clubs produce a certain level of football because that's the manner in which they can attract players, and maybe a longer stay in the Premier League will change that. But I'm not sure it will, because, you know, Bournemouth haven't really been able to change as a football club because their attendances, the size of their club, will only lend them to a certain commercial opportunity and a certain level of spending bracket they can go into. But I think the Premier League is richer for these teams at times. I think, you know, you might not think that after Sheffield United did a number on your lot during the week.
No, I think that's precisely what the Premier League needs. Would I wish it was someone other than Spurs? Yes. But was it a better team showing one of the so-called bigger teams how to play the game and how, what attitude is required? And that's it's that competitiveness and the upset results, and though that wasn't an upset, you could argue, that's what I want out of the Premier League. So while I had some personal pain from that, Simon, good on them. Good on Sheffield United. Show them what you got.
Yeah, listen, what I like about Wilder and what I like about Deitch, and I think you like this too, is they've got balls and they say it as they see it, and they don't homogenise it, they don't dress it up, and they have an honesty about the way their teams play. They're limited at times, not the managers, but the personnel they've got. And I think that they what they do is they sometimes no choice is the best choice in football, and they've got an element of no choice because they can't operate at the top pool. They can't get the best players in terms of technical ability and wage constructions, because with technical ability you put Mesut Ozil in any bracket, but application perhaps not. So I like what they bring to the game. I like what they bring to the Premier League. I don't like, it's not, I have to be honest, it isn't compelling viewing for me. I don't go through the fixture list and go, oh my, I must watch Sheffield United versus Burnley. Right? But that notwithstanding, I still think that they have, they've added something to the league, and at times specifically Sheffield United's performance. Sean Dyche is an exceptional manager, but with Chris Wilder and Sheffield United coming through the divisions and against the backdrop of owner challenges with people fighting in the boardroom, he's produced a football side that's powered out of League One after several years of being in there, powered out of the Championship, powered into the Premier League, and at times, with some of those players have got there, they look a very engaging outfit. But I think they look better against sides that have a propensity to perhaps underestimate them or think they can roll them over because they're better. And I'm not sure that Burnley would look at Sheffield United, or Sheffield United would look at Burnley and say, well, on paper we're better than you. And I think that whatever footballers say, whatever football managers profess, there's always an element of the psychological balance of when you are Man United and you're playing Sheffield United, you think you have the right to beat Sheffield United. I'm not sure Burnley or Sheffield United think they have the right to beat one another.
No, that's what I think what made the game interesting yesterday, that they both could have expected to win the game while being aware that they could lose it as well. Just to remind people, Sheffield United now 8th, a point behind Arsenal in 7th, Burnley on 9th, and themselves 2 points behind Sheffield United. All those teams, of course, waiting for news about Manchester City's putative two-season ban from the Champions League, which will see the Champions League place moved down to 5th, and the Europa League's places moved down accordingly. Be very interesting to see what happens with all of that. Now, listen, we've got lots of calls coming in about whether or not you're enjoying the new football reality on the television, on the radio, whether or not you think it's sustainable, and whether or not you've got ideas to improve it. That number again is 08717 223344. What I think we'll do in the next half hour here on Simon Jordan's Final Word on Talk Sport is we'll talk about Manchester United next. Maybe Simon will be getting his humble pie ready to eat, warming it up in the microwave as we speak, and then we'll get your calls on from 1:45. This is the Final Word. Me, Danny Kelly, him, Simon Jordan. We're so glad you're listening to the show.
If you can build that flat-pack wardrobe without looking at the instructions, you've still got it. If you can manage 5 keepy uppies on your first go, you've without question still got it. If you can toss a pancake to the ceiling and not let it hit the floor, surely you've still got it. And if you can just about fit into those jeans you bought 5 years ago, you've definitely still got it. Brute. Still got it.
This is the sound of confidence that lasts a lifetime being made in the British Army. Could you make it out? Listen past the sirens, past the people, to that, right there. The sound of a soldier delivering medical supplies, serving their nation. The sound of confidence that lasts a lifetime being made. Recruiting now and always. Search Army Jobs.
Let's face it, it's not been the year we expected. But that won't stop us squeezing the barbecue out of the shed, all squeezing onto one table, leaving room for the odd unexpected guest. Down, boy. While not forgetting to squeeze out every last drop of sunshine, or every last drop of Heinz. Heinz sauces. Squeeze the most out of summer.
The big Volkswagen event is now on. If you're after an approved used Volkswagen, for a limited time, you can buy one with 2 years warranty, 2 years MOT cover, 2 years roadside assistance, and 2 services all included. At 8.9% APR representative. Hello, sir. Do any take your fancy?
I need to sit down. The big Volkswagen event. With every type of car on offer, you may have trouble choosing. With Solutions Personal Contract Plan until 12th of July. At participating retailers on used Volkswagens aged between 90 days and 60 months only. Indemnities may be required. Warranty valid for vehicles up to 100,000 miles.